Well, they basically finished up until they can get concrete. This was yesterday. This is our first day not here. It feels kind of weird, but they got all the gravel in here, flattened out pretty good. That last load we got was just enough. It's nice you can actually walk on it. It's packed pretty good now. Got this filled in out here. What was that? I think it's a cat. Got a coon for a second. I got this back area cleaned up, graded out. I think they did a pretty good job with it. It's decently flat. I'm gonna go around here and rake it around a little bit, make it a little nicer, but I'm sure over time it'll get even better. Yeah, it rains on it a little bit. Got the drain pipe ran out through the woods. The floor drain anyway. That is sticky. One thing they haven't done yet, I thought they were gonna do, is they still gotta frame up the garage doors. Put some 2x4s through here, all up and around, so the garage door guy can come and do his thing. He came out yesterday and took a look at the site and made sure everything was lining up, and he said it looked pretty good. So I'm not sure why they haven't done that yet. I guess I'll do it when they come back to get the concrete. But you got the roof all done, got all the soffit done. Yeah, pretty happy with it so far. I'm glad we get the concrete job done. You know, a big piece of it is this area over here still needs dealt with, and it's gonna be a little bit tricky to get all the drain slopes and everything right. I'm thinking maybe it'll go easier than what I have in mind, but my biggest concern is we got one shot at it, and then if we don't get it right, it's gonna be hard to fix. Making sure all this water gets from all in here, it's all gotta go out right there. And like I said, once you pour it, that's it. We have to, if something doesn't flow right or it gets clogged or whatever, we got to bust all that concrete out and try it again. Yeah, is what I'm thinking. So I just really want to get it right the first time, obviously. Yeah, that's about it for now. I probably won't have much more to show until we get concrete in here. It's probably gonna be 2 or 3 more weeks before that's done. Well, it's the day after Thanksgiving, and I'm actually kind of surprised they came out and did the gutters already. Wasn't sure when they were going to do them, but they got to it even in the rain today. They're out here working on them. It's kind of a mud pit, but I think they look pretty good. They did the bigger ones. I call them 5-inch or 6-inch downspouts with the 5-foot gutters. And one little thing we messed up on over here was originally it was going to come down into there, just straight shot up. They were saying that's too close to the corner. They couldn't deal with it, so we were going to have to move it side to side, one way or the other. And so let's go ahead and move it around to this side. And I kind of wish I had done that to begin with. I wasn't thinking when we first put that in. It'll look nice when you pull in here. You don't see 2 gutters on, real close together over here. It'd be kind of hidden from the front. So I was out here fabbing that up while they were doing the rest of the gutters, getting ready for them. And yeah, not the end of the world. It's got some more extra elbows and bends in there for leaves to get caught in, but I don't think I'll have too much trouble. And even if I do, it's gonna be pretty accessible. Yeah, I'm gonna backfill with a bunch of gravel in here, and it'll barely be covered up, but I think I can cover it without a ton of fill. It's probably a couple inches higher than the ground here, but anyway, I'll get all that covered up. One thing I had to work with them on is how do I put the siding on after they're done? I think I'm gonna have to take all the downspouts just off basically, but everything's screwed together, nothing's riveted. So I should be able to just take all that down myself while I'm doing it. Seems like I did a pretty good job. There's only one on this side to deal with. Had to kind of estimate where I want those, the plastic to stop. I cut all those out myself to the exact heights I'm thinking. That one's maybe a hair high, but at some point I'm gonna backfill with more gravel in here, and I didn't want to. I'd rather be a little too long than too short and it gets filled in with gravel. But I also didn't want a gigantic amount sticking up out of there. So I just kind of had to eyeball and take a stab at it where I'm going to have the fill ultimately. But there's a couple on the other side, nothing major to look at. But it's interesting to see how they did it with their machine and everything. That bends the gutters right on site. I didn't really understand how that worked, but something else I'm working on over here is I got to thinking about having, eventually I might have a lift in here, like a 2-post lift. Really don't ever foresee me getting one. Yeah, at this point, it kind of feels to me like half the time it's going to be in the way for a little bit of usefulness. I mean, if I'm just changing oil, I normally just pick it up on some jack stands, change the oil once a year in my truck, twice a year in Red's car, and that's it. I mean, but there will be definitely times that it'd be handy, you know, dropping the engine out from underneath, obviously, huge help. But then the rest of the time, you got this lift in the way. And say I'm trying to get the Falcon in and out of here. I got junk over in here. I got to try to weasel it back around, move all this stuff out the way. It's just going to be kind of in the way to store the Falcon all the time. And or just whatever else back here. But at the same time, I figured I'll go ahead and at least get the concrete, some 6-inch concrete in the areas the post will be. That way, if I ever do want one, I'm a little better off. It seemed like the models I was looking at, they said you could have 4-inch concrete, but I figure why not just dig this out a little bit. So I've been thinking a lot about where do I want it exactly. It's not easy to think about that because like you don't know what stuff you're going to have around the back of the garage. Am I going to have stuff against the wall? If so, it needs to be further this way. You get it too far this way and it kind of ruins the space up here to put another vehicle or something. So I want to get it too close this way, but I don't get too far that way. And I measured my truck and kind of assuming it's a worst case scenario in terms of that a long vehicle. Of course, I guess if you even had a long bed, all of a sudden this is going to be real tight. But I think I gave myself 2 feet of room to the post over here. And of course the truck is thinner than the post by a decent amount. So I have 3 or 4 feet on each side to walk around and 2 feet to get around that post. And then I think I've got about close to 4 feet around the back, even with my truck, which again is the longest vehicle we'd ever have on it. So I definitely should be able to get in here, even if you got a little parts washer or something in here, it'd still be doable. But the bad thing is that where it pretty much ended up is real close to my drain right here. And I didn't think that through. When they asked me where I want my drains at, I was thinking more about the slopes and not being too far from each other. And never even crossed my mind about the lift. But basically the lift would be about in the center of this, like the post itself, maybe even more this way. This would be the edge of the post here and be about here. And I think it'd be fine. I mean, you're just going to have that weakening the concrete a little bit, I guess, but not by much. And, you know, if I push it much forward that way, again, it kind of ruins my storage space up here. It makes it harder to weasel a car in this way to get it into the lift, too, the way I'm looking at it. So I just kind of working with the best I got, or doing the best I can with what I got. And I think it'll be all right. Again, I may never even use it, but I'm going to make a little map of where the thick concrete is. You know, I'm going to shovel that out and just keep that map handy in case I ever wanted to mess with it.